Tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray.
Hello all, and welcome to the channel. Today we are doing another episode of the Rantings of a Mad Raven, where we're talking a little bit more about what ruffles my feathers, what really gets me just a little bit, I'm just, on edge about it. So the topic today is more talking about chat sites, what we've experienced, what we know, and what we're just trying to outline, because there's such a stigma on chat sites. I feel that we really, as people who've experienced it for more than 15 to 16 years of our lives, I feel like there's a lot of insight that we can give on this particular subject, and a lot of air that needs to be cleared and just things that need to be said. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the torch off to my co-host Ravenblood, and let's get into it.
Thank you, Miss Ravenlaced. So, yes. Instead of the whole saying of, what, you want to know what grinds my gears? No, we're going to throw that out the window. You know what ruffles my feathers? Like, really ruffles the feathers. It's sites. I love them. I really do. I have a love-hate relationship with chat sites. I've met a lot of great people on this website, and from brilliant minds from around the world, of different ideologies, of different beliefs, of different ideas. But I've also seen the negative sides of the internet world, and I've also seen the toxicity and the worst of worst that you can think of human behavior and how we treat people online. And I gotta say, man, for the 15 years that I've been on, websites, and especially majority of it on TC, that's the only real chat site experience I had for the last half decade or decade and a half of my life, is that right there, is TC. And I've seen it from the birth of what it was, how we as Seekers Chat are starting, how it was amazing at first, it was great, everyone had great ideas, it was supported. And then somewhere along the lines, I don't know where, I don't know how, I don't know what happened.
We have to kind of. I'm gonna cut in there, and the only reason why I'm gonna cut in here is because I remember chat sites from like Yahoo Chat. I remember when chat sites were before before cameras, right, where everyone would just chat in the chat logs. I remember when we upgraded from that to Kageshi was the very first chat site I ever was on, and all we had was video. We had audio, but no one used it because it was broken. It was cheap. It was broken. It didn't ever. And it was just one of those things where it was open mic. So when people came into the room, people would use that as a trolling method to just blast everyone's eardrums out. So most people would just mute the site anyway, and we would all just chat, because we all came from chat communities that would chat in logs. And I'm talking, these were entertaining. You had writers on here gaining inspiration by, you know what I mean, just having like chats. And there's one guy on there that started like role playing, and he was talking about us in a bar partying, and all of a sudden there were washing machines and they exploded, and it was a water party, and it was just weird, but it was entertaining. I mean, I was on this for 16 hours. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the heck out of it. I enjoyed the creativity and the ingenuity and how people were using this platform, and it was a lot of fun. But what happened with it slowly was it didn't have Kageshi didn't have a lot of promotion. It's not like you would see their ads everywhere, you know what I mean, promotional base. It was kind of it was more word of mouth. So once they got about 500 so odd people on there, that was pretty much it. And it stood at a standstill for like 15 years. The guy basically made the software, dumped the software, and walked away. And it hardly worked half the time. The only update they ever did on it was to take away the mute button, or take away the button where you're muted when you come in instead of being open mic'd, because it was blasting everyone's eardrums to non-existence. Then what do? They end up selling the site and becoming Escape Chat. And when Escape Chat happened, they were hoping they would update the audio so people could talk to each other and work it like Jump In, or work it like all these other sites that are existing now, Tiny Chat. And they couldn't do it, which is why Escape Chat died, because he never updated the software. They never did. They took a broken system and thought they could make money on it, and it just wasn't gonna, that wasn't gonna happen. So yeah, that, when all this began, it began from, chat logs to, we became more audible and more visual. It was mostly video that came up first. But a lot of the sites that were up were all sex-based, because it was one of those things where that sex sells. And it was the only thing that we could necessarily use to get these sites to really do well. So then,
Well, I mean, I remember Skype being a thing, and I used that for a long time. And that's kind of like similar to like Discord, I guess, in today's modern equivalent, but that's what I worked on, and that's what I was using. So my whole real, chat site experience was really just TC. And then once Stumble kind of came around, then I used
well,
that for a
see,
little.
the chat sites that did, or the chat things that did become successful, were the things where you could set up meetings or on and on interactions. Those actually became way more popular than the actual chat sites, but it's because they had better technology at that time. The visual interfaces on Facebook Messenger were way better than anything that we could get on normal chat sites at that time. So of course all that insect sells. So of course all the other sites that were using one-on-one, chat services, though, that whole line got a huge bump in industry, right? They were like, boom, we got this big thing about it. Well, when Tiny Chat finally came out, what Tiny Chat was everyone would try to use like Escape Chat, or Icon Has Chat was two other sites that I knew that were around this time. There's also the Palace, where it wasn't video or audio, but it was you owning your room, and you could design it, and it was cartoon characters or an avatar, and a little chat log would pop up next to the avatar, and you would talk in the room and move around people. And I would say it was like a lot like Roblox, but like the infancy of, the father of Roblox, right? Like Palace was literally like the infancy of what they turned into the idea of Roblox. So even that whole thing, and why does Roblox so freaking popular? Let's go at this angle too. Why? Because it has free mods on the platform, which allows people to throw whatever they want on it. And when you say we allow children, this is a teenage-based chat site, you allow children on this chat site, and then you don't think with a free mod platform that's not going to end in disaster? My daughter was on there less than 10 seconds, and I was able to find a room where people were each other with words within seconds, or no, minutes of her being on here. So, and literally had a groomer trying to groom her within 10 minutes of being on there. I understand 100% why some people nowadays have a bad taste towards chat sites, because of what they've experienced it with, what their children are dealing with, trying to keep their children off this, and really teach them about OPSEC and teach them about internet safety. and it becoming harder and harder for us to necessarily do this. But what bred this, right? What made chat sites what's up is there's so many people who are tired of going out and putting themselves in dangerous situations just to have social engagement. And half the time when they would go out for social engagement, most people who go out stick to their own groups. They're not out mingling. It's not the same social structure it used to be like back in the 70s and 80s and 90s, where people would mingle more, and it was more, people were very much more open to social interaction than they are nowadays. Nowadays, everyone just sticking with their own clique, and if you came alone, you're probably the only one in the bar who did.
They also don't have the time to go out and do that stuff anymore. I mean, they're working 2 jobs, maybe they have a family, and if they do have 20 minutes to themselves a night, it's like, this is how that's going to happen, you know?
True, but I've also seen in the 15 years, though, and I can, be completely honest with this, in the 15 years that I've been on TC, not, or even just internet chat sites in general, not one of these people that I call internet friends I've actually seen in person. Not one.
Now, here's going back to Tiny Chat. I forgot to explain this. So, yeah, going back to Tiny Chat explanation real quick here. Sorry, I'm adjusting my volume level. The biggest thing about it is they were the one chat site that was based on an app that you could go mobile with. They were the first chat site you can do this with. Escape, or Kageshi was what it was called. Escape Chat used to be Kageshi, so Kageshi is what it was called before. Would not work on your phone. I Can Hash Chat would not work on your phone. There were no chat sites that would work on the browsers on your phone until Tiny Chat, which made their own app, spend the $10,000 to make their own app. You know what I mean? So it was okay, so back to the subject. So they were one of the first sites to really go mobile and say, okay, we're going to go mobile and give this aspect of chat quality to people that no one really had before. And that's why Tiny Chat blew up. That's why they became what they became, because they provided a service at that time that wasn't a thing. But the issue with running them on mobile was they ran so heavy that your phone would die in seconds. And Tiny Chat was free to begin with. It was free. So that was cool. But when they started paying, my bank account got hacked, or not my bank account, my debit card got hacked probably like 8 times in 8 different payments. It's like every year I would just buy the whole year so I didn't have to deal with a new debit card every month. And I would literally get a new debit card every year because every time I made a payment, my card would get hacked. That's how bad it was. And people dealt with that. People paid it because people wanted it. But what you got out of it, when they finally went to a payment system on there, a lot of things broke. The ban button didn't work. People were designing their own bots to try to kick people off the website. And when you try to ask for customer service, you're talking to a bot, or you're talking to someone who isn't real. You're not talking to real actual people. And this whole conversation, mind you, I just want to outline the reasons why we are talking about this is to show that we understand the genuine knowledge about chat sites, that we have seen chat sites evolve throughout time. We've all been a part of it. We've all been online. We've all freaking seen it. And we just want to explain the differences in Seekers Chat and the platform that I'm hosting on right now and showing you, and how I'm talking to all these people. This is a chat site that was created with the ideology of everything we wanted in a chat site that we never received from any of these free sites ever. So we're getting back into the whole chat site talk, and we're getting back into the conversations that we were having before we had some technological issues. Sorry about that, people. And for all who wondering, previously, No, we don't have to go over that. They already seen it. Hello, hi. um, so our complaints about this subject that we're currently talking about is mostly we opened this site, it didn't get a lot of flack, and we kept wondering why it was. It has better graphics, it has better audio, it has, everything that people were asking for available on this platform. Why isn't it doing well? And it's just interesting from a standpoint to see that people would rather be on these free platforms and have their information sold. And by the way, yes, your information is being sold on these sites. It's in the disclaimers that you click agree on when you're registering your account.
Yeah, there's always some clause in there about like we will use your information however we see fit. Yeah, so if there's no advertising and you can't see a way that the site is making money on the site, then that is absolutely what they're doing, is selling your data.
Right, and this site, you're not working with bots, you're not working with emails, you're working with actual people when you have problems. You're not dealing with an email that doesn't even solve you, or a help board that doesn't even answer your question of what you're asking. You're dealing with real people running the site, helping you with whatever issues that you have going on, which, mind you, there might be periods of the day where you would have to wait until operational hours, but at the same time, within 24 hours, your issue will be addressed. Whereas like on these other sites, you have an issue, you're hacked, you're basically canceling your card and getting a new one, because there's no saving it.
Right. And I mean, it should be, and it's kind of, it kind of lets me know how I should handle things, because when you look at Tiny Chat, they said whoever bought that URL, and it's out of the UK too, because Cool Chat is a UK company. So whoever bought the Tiny Chat URL just decided, hey, you know what? Chat sucks. We're just gonna put cam girls on it. They didn't bother taking off the Cool Chat logo. So you go on to Tiny Chat and you hit the button right, and then the
Wait,
Cool
so
Chat
Tiny
logo comes
Chat
up.
is back, is what you're saying?
Yeah, Tiny Chat's up on the internet right now.
No.
They turned it into a cam girl website. They said no more of this bullshit chat. We're just gonna put cam girls on
No.
it. Yep, I kid you not.
I just want to look it up to show all the viewers. Like, what are you? It's
Yeah,
not like
yeah.
naked things on the front page, though, right? Like,
No, but viewer discretion should be advised.
viewer discretion
Yeah.
advised. Here we go.
Yep.
Let's see what I see. I see random chat with strangers. Start your random chat video chat adventures today. Completely free and 100% anonymous.
It's not completely free.
That's what it says on here.
Also a lie. So
Are
yes,
you?
it's free to make your account. But if you want to talk for more than 15 seconds, you're going to have to pay tokens.
Please read our rules carefully. Violations of any of them will result in a lifetime block. Put your account with no rights to recover it. If you try to create new accounts, these will also be blocked. Only sign in if you are over 18 and agree to our privacy policy. We use cookies and personal website content to deliver you the best possible experience. Strictly prohibited. Strictly prohibited is indicating you are underage. So
Well,
what if I'm a teenager, I could just come on here and
there's
just
no
make
there
sure
is
I don't
no
sell anybody,
so there is no age verification.
No.
Yeah, you can get right. You can get
Sharing
right in.
confidential information, including names, nickname of users, any personal information, topics of conversation, recording sound, photo, or video communications. So influencers can't go on here and use this as a platform. Oh, look at that. Blog, begging for gifts by description, chatting with users who are underage, using photos of people who are underage as profile pictures, broadcasting videos of minors or sexual deletions banned by law, pedophilia. Oh, well, okay, all that stuff I can't say. If you see material like this being broadcasted, you must report it immediately. Failure to do so may result in your account being blocked. Using profanity in conversations is bannable by lifetime. I'm gonna get kicked off this site. Posting or allowing to be posted statements and discriminatory nature, terrorist acts or propaganda, violence and similar topics. Oh, so got it. I don't even want to confirm. It
I think
doesn't
you already
say
did.
pay anywhere though.
But so look, you can go ahead and share the screen. There's not going to be any nudity. I haven't seen any straight up nudity as soon as I click. But I mean, you can always edit it out if you see it. But there's no age verification to say that you're 18 when you log on, and then you're going to be taken straight to a chat. Now, I've only seen the female side of this. So if you're clicking I'm female, let me see males, God help you. But
Well, it won't let me
I didn't
search
see any.
unless I activate my cam, and it only lets me search guys, so it does seem like it's more set up for that kind of like platform, like the camming platform, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what you get there. I showed you guys, that's what you get. And I swear I'll pull up Pal Talk too, and I'll show you guys what you get on Pal Talk and how great of an experience that is. And then you can tell me which one you think's better. Just
Well, Pal Talk is like the worst of both worlds because they charge money, but they don't give a crap what goes on there.
yeah.
There's no moderation. So they're charging money, but there's zero moderation. It's the same thing that
There's moderation, but it's like it really, because I was on there for 7 hours running that ad and that, and no one turned my cam off, no one banned me from the room. It didn't get stopped until like 7 hours later. So there is monetization, it's just volunteer based like every other chat site, which isn't good monetization, and it doesn't work out very well for people. I'm just being honest.
Well, no, I mean it's not moderation unless you're actually actively searching things out, you know.
And all
Like
these
it
people do is sit there, and if they see something go right, they're like, oh, but that's about all you're doing. And it's
Right.
like, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm sorry, I thought if you're a moderator, you know what I mean, you would be helping promote events that the room is doing, or, be more interactive with the group than just, oh, something's going down. Blah, blah. And I'm
right,
like,
right. I mean, if
you
you're
know,
doing it right, if you're doing
if
it
you're
right,
doing
yeah.
it right. And I, like, when I come on here, every day I make sure I check if there's new users or if there's anything I need to update. I see who's logged on. I see what rooms they're logging on. I look at access logs. I do all that before I jump on cam. Like, you know what I mean? And I would expect that if there was someone monetizing, they would do that. Like, check on your checklist, and then you do your job. Like
Yeah,
any
and
other job.
But I mean, most of those sites that are operating now, like Epic Chat being the worst offender, where
See, I still haven't jumped on Epic Chat yet, and I just don't want my information on Epic Chat.
Epic Chat's weird. Number one, okay, it's free. Number two, even though it's free, in order to verify your account, you have to send them a picture of your face with a registration number on a piece of paper under it. And that takes about 3 days to verify. So the only thing I can think of to why you would do that is if you're using Yachty or some other form of facial recognition age verification software, but you're so cheap that you won't embed it into the actual website. You're doing it all manually, which is why it takes 3 days to complete. So it's like, number one, they're using the facial recognition software to verify your age.
Right,
But
which can easily, it can easily be like,
well, here's the kicker. So like, you don't have to have a verified account to be on the site and use all the functions. That's for people who want to be verified. There is nothing stopping you from coming in with an unverified account as a 13-year-old kid and going straight to this room they have called public. Like, there's
wow.
all of the titles for the rooms are sexually themed, and nudity is allowed in all rooms. So it's not just, hey, there's a 420 room. It's 420 get nasty. It's
By the way, just throwing it out there on this channel, if anyone has any suggestions on ad space that worked for them or their company, please give us a heads up. Let us know, because Google and YouTube are not where it's at.
no.
Yeah, just a holler, throw in the comments below. Let us know. Any suggestions are better than nothing at all. So,
Yeah.
and let us know your story on how they helped you as well.
But yeah, like, so Epic Chat Epic Chat and Stumble Chat are really the hugest problems for this whole industry anyway. Because this used to be something that, like, not only was there Yahoo Chat, there was AOL, there was IRC, there was like all these different chat platforms. And while they were just text based and kind of sucked, like, they used to be, there used to be more than one choice. And I mean, my memories of those times were very happy. Like, back on the AOL days, Yahoo Chat days, like, it was always a good time. And that's kind of like what I fell into when I found Tiny Chat. And I'm not saying that for the whole site of Tiny Chat. I'm saying it for one chat room that I found where the people were actually decent. So, I mean, that kind of gives you an idea of how it went from being like a kind of nice thing that, you just had to be careful about who you're talking to on there. But when you're talking about text-based chatting, it was much easier to
Well, we
weed out
also
the
had the
weirdos.
whole OPSEC mindset. I mean, everyone was taught OPSEC back when I was younger about being online, and OPSEC
Yeah.
was like, hold on, cheers. By the way, happy 420 to the world. 420 friendly in this lot.
Cheers.
Cheers. Across the world.
Goal.
But,
Didn't mean to interrupt, sorry.
no, you're good. It went from something that was pretty much, enjoyable. And in the course of like 25 something years, with the addition of video, it became completely toxic.
Well, okay, because the first edition to video was all girl stuff and Chatterbait. Chatterbait was really the first site that actually used like that kind of interface where it was high definition like that. You know what I mean? Whereas like Epic Chat and Kageshi, I remember Kageshi was the very first website that ever came up that was video anything. And I'm talking lowest quality of the low. And they left it like that, the exact same quality like that for 15 freaking years. Only updating the fact that if people came in, they don't come in open mic. That was the only change they ever made to that website ever. And it was a sell your information site. You would have to register, and once you registered, they sold your freaking information. And I would get like, I remember my email was so bad. It took me 4 months of constantly every day report, junk, report, junk, to thousands of emails because of these sites selling my information. My email was 4 months straight. That's how long it took to make my email straight again. And now my junk folder is still full of shit because of all the information they sold. Of the shit they sold my information to. Every time I register for a website and I get an explosion of emails or an explosion of spam calls, I know immediately they sold my information. And I usually make it a point not to register or be a part of sites that sell my phone number information, because the scam calls it'll totally ruin my phone number. Yep.
Yeah, and I mean that's the part that is definitely, you know, like the bottom part of the iceberg. Like if you go to a website and you can't tell how they're making money, it's that.
And I had, with just Tiny Chat alone, because Tiny Chat was the only thing around. And then you had Jump in Chat, and you had uh, other websites, but they were only owned by one person, and this one person couldn't manage the whole site. It was too much for him, and there was people on the site willing to spend over $500,000 for the software. I am not joking when I say there's $500,000 that was put aside for the software, and this guy said nope and walked away and turned and burned his whole project because he was so upset about the result of him opening his chat site, and the result of what he got wasn't what he expected either. And unless he paid for serious ad space, he felt like he wasn't going to get anywhere with it, and he didn't have the funds. I think his spouse had cancer, unfortunately. That's the rumor. That's a grapevine rumor. I don't like spreading rumors, so that is a grapevine rumor. But supposedly his spouse had cancer and he was going through family. That was the kit and caboodle.
Well, I think the main thread of truth through this whole thing is that without without charging a few dollars a month for whatever kind of site you have, like you can eat the cost of having a website if you're selling products. You know what I mean? Because the products are paying for the website, yada yada. But when you're offering a service, you know, such as, you know, like these chat sites do for video chat, it's like if you're not charging a couple bucks, then you know you're making money some other nefarious way using user data. And that's kind of the reputation that these chat sites have, you know, given themselves over the years, because they've been doing these nefarious things with people's data. So, and it's not a new thing at all. This has been something that's been going on for like, you know, 20 years, or they wouldn't have this reputation they
Well,
have.
they have a monopoly with it, but everyone
Yeah.
knows the monopoly that they have with it, which is like, also, I just, a suggestion out for a seekers chat would be like maybe opening up a merch line would be kind of cool. And then
Yeah.
a donation line for sure, just to have it, just so we can
Yeah,
have it.
donation.
You know? A
Yeah.
GoFundMe page, it's not going to cost anything out of your pocket that you can just throw up. And if someone finds it within, like all of us are willing to donate, boom, there's the donation line, donate to the donation line. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would be a great idea. And that at least helps. That could pay for the cost of Aurora right there if we all donate
Yeah.
to the
I mean,
donation line. So,
and I mean, I think after you know going through this whole experience, like you know, I know now that this is probably, it's not just the sites that are the problem. It's easy to blame it all on
Well,
websites.
it's the people. It's the people
It's
who
the
created
it's
that
the
and the
freaking
monopoly that created that. It's the
it,
monopoly, not just the people, because the people, it's a whole company of corruption.
but like the main formula is, it has to be a free platform, and it there has to be zero rules. That seems to be the main two things that people, the two ingredients to make a chat site, right? Or I should say three. Anonymity, no rules, and free. Because as we've figured it out when we first started the site, we had a spot for, your phone number for two-factor authentication to make sure that you never, have somebody hack
And
your
then we
account.
had to take that off because it got so sketched
Immediately
out.
immediately had to take it off because everybody's instant thought was, oh, this is to steal my information. No, it's like, no, we're trying to protect your information. This is why but explaining that to a chat person is like talking to a brick. Like,
There's these
it's not.
guys in Canada and they give free roofs to people like for the community. They're giving back to the community. And there's so many people who slam doors in their face because they're like, you could fall off my roof and then sue me for the injury. Or, you know what I mean? They think of all
Nobody
the ways
believes.
they can get scammed. Everyone thinks it's not legit and it's a scam. Everyone.
Yeah, but you can't blame them either. You can't blame them and that's why I can't get mad at these chat people, because I'm like,
Because I
no, we're
know
trying
if someone knocked on
the
my
same
door,
situation.
I might think it's a YouTube influencer, but I'm looking at their channel and checking if they touch anything. Like, and even then, I'm still
Yeah.
sketched. Even then, I'm still sketched. You know what I mean? Like, shoot. It would be a
There is no
lot.
such thing as a free lunch.
Well,
And that's what
exactly.
everybody has ingrained in their head, is that if you're trying to offer me anything for free, it's a scam. But of course, apparently, it's the opposite of that in the chat world because they only want free.
Right. It's okay to sell all my information. Who cares? My information's out there anyway, so let me just,
Right.
you
As long as you're
know.
not charging nothing.
You know, as long as it's free, who cares? I didn't even want to go on. I don't even want to really go on Tiny Chat because I just, I
Not
know
with the
this
history
site
we
is
have.
secure, but let me tell you about the amount of times Tiny Chat screwed me over in the 12 years of its existence. Probably about 18 times. I've had to change my debit card 18 times because of freaking Tiny Chat. So, and I've never had an issue with, well, we'll go others aside, you know what I mean, payment platforms aside,
Yeah.
like no issues on here. And there's real people to talk to if you have any issues. Just letting you know. Because that's a
So,
pain in the butt right there.
Yeah, honestly, I am ready, to stay in here and, to pay the subscription. I enjoy being here every day, having a nice talk after I come back from work. That's the first thing I do. I look who's online and,
So,
just hanging out.
if you like
And
what
that's
you
how I feel
see,
too about that, PU. Like with this site, like since I've been on TC, I was on TC when it first, and that was like back in like 2012, I think. 2013 is when it really started.
I
I
think
can't.
it was 2010 or 2011.
2010.
Yeah, it
Okay.
was 2010, I think, yeah.
Yeah, like
Because it
I
was right
started.
around the time I had my daughter, and I remember my daughter was just a baby, and I was trying to find a way to
Schedule
be
everything.
online with a
Yeah.
child was an experience, yeah.
Right, but yeah, I was on since like 2010, and pretty much from the beginning all the way to the point that it died.
So my experience of the chat world has been through TC for half my
My
life.
experience of the chat world wasn't just TC. My experience was like, I remember Yahoo Chat. I remember
I used those, but I didn't use those as
Palace.com,
much.
ICANN has chat, Kageshi, before it
I
was
didn't.
Kageshi, the Jump and Chat and Tiny
Okay,
Chat,
jump in chat. I
and
did use that one.
Stickam.
I did use jump in chat, and I did use tiny chat. Obviously, that was my
Did you
main
ever use Stickam when it was actually...
for a little bit.
Yeah,
But I
that was
tried
a big
to
one.
block that one out of my memory for a good
Well,
reason.
because everyone was ticked because they said, "Oh, we're gonna have this huge comeback," and then they never came back. They never
That's why
nothing.
I said that's vacant from my memory
Oh,
because
because you were upset they didn't come back.
I was mad. I was over them.
Oh, I was one of the too bad. I know. Oh
So I
no,
blocked that out of my memory for good reason. So I
that's
don't.
so funny.
But that was my experience with the chat rooms, and that's why I say like I've seen the good, I've seen the bad as far as that site in particular. Most everybody who comes from the chat world all gravitated at TC at some point, so we all crossed paths in that central TC. That was the big from really then. Like when you said chat room, you said TC, and everyone knew exactly what you meant. Tiny chat, they knew exactly what you. So, but not to say that it didn't have its horrible sides too, you know what I'm saying? But it was really the people that either made or broke that site for people. It was either the people in the rooms that made the room feel like a family and a place you could come to, like what we do on here, or it was a place that you're like, okay, what am I going to deal with now? I just came from my freaking 8-hour job. Now I'm coming online to deal with more. What am I dealing with now? You know what I'm saying? And
Right,
that was the mindset really when I came into rooms. It was either am I going to have a good time or am I going to have to go to war today? And I really don't want to go to war today. Not with internet trolls, not with internet keyboard warriors. I don't want to freaking go to war with them. Why?
That
Because
was another
it's a
thing
waste
is
of time.
some of those rooms are so toxic, right? Because that platform, free platforms invite trolls, invite stalkers, and most of these platforms were
all
set
the bad that
up.
you don't want on a
Well,
site.
here's the thing. These platforms were set up where the person's picture was the live directory. So for you to get in the room, it wasn't the room list like what we have over here. You can see
Yep.
on my left-hand side of my screen right here, these are all the rooms on Seekers Chat.
Yep.
And this wasn't available. It was people you would chase around. And like on this site, for instance, how we have it set up here is like you see the room. So I'm in Raven's lair and you can see this little camera over here is jingling. You would hit that camera to join the room, to join our conversation and join us in here. But like I can also go in Serenity and see if the blue light is jingling in there, help desk, which right now we're not really busy. So none of them are really jingling right now, but you can see in each room, are there people in here? But we're not chasing people across the site. We're just checking rooms to see if someone's in them. And that's how it should
then
be. And
deciding if you wanna go
that's
in
why
there.
people like Jump and Chat, because Jump and Chat was room based. You clicked the room, you went into the room, it showed who was in the room and the number of people and all that. It was a different
Yep. I
setup.
remember it.
Right, but it was that's why people like Jump and Chat, because it wasn't a platform set up for stalkers.
Nope.
And Seekers Chat is not a platform that attains to stalkers. We do not agree with that. We're not a platform that provides easy access to that. And these other platforms could care less.
As a moderator for this room, I can tell you right now, if I see or if there's any females in here that feel like they are being stalked, all you have to do is just let us know and we will get rid of that person ASAP. It's that simple. We will create a safe space for anyone who wants to use this platform. Like, we are dedicated in your safety. We don't sell your information.
Also, we
don't
do have
blast
rooms.
any of that.
We do have rooms for sale on here. So if you go on here and you join Coffee Talk, or I believe Coffee Talk's the only one for sale right now. But if you do like the Coffee Talk room is for sale, or like we really would love it if you want to start your own podcast and you're an influencer who wants an interactive audience, platform like what I'm talking on to you guys right here, right now,
Like we
then
all
you
are.
need to create your own room for it, because we do not agree with you just coming on the site and recording anyone willy-nilly. You have to give viewer discretion. You have to, I wrote in chat, for instance, we are recording right now. Please follow YouTube and Seeker chat rules. So this is for our site. If you want to record and use this as a podcast and use this as part of your channel, you need to create your own room, and in the room description you need to let people know where you're posting and just that you are recording on in this room, and if they are in your room they will be recorded. So you give
You have to give notice,
disclaimer.
you have to give warning if you're
Yeah, you
going
have to
to
give
put out
disclaimer.
content.
Exactly.
That's the short version of it.
Exactly, and I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm trying to wrap this up real quickly here. This is becoming a very long episode. I got a lot of editing to do, guys.
Lols.
So,
But the main point of what we wanted to finish off with, you guys, is that, we know these sites sell your information. They do.
yes.
We do not. We actually do not sell anything. We don't even have anything but whatever you
And the
use.
phone number option was taken down. It's just an email now. That's all. You don't have to scan your ID. It's nothing too
Right.
crazy. Right now, we are running.
Whatever you put for your username and, your profile information. That's it. That's all we get.
Right now, we are running a promo until May 21st where you will get $40 accredited to your wallet, which will pay for about 4 to 5 months of membership for this site. Otherwise, it's $5 a month for membership, $10 a month for a room, and you don't have to pay all at once, like for the whole year, like PayPal. You could put in the money in your wallet and it will re-up automatically too. So let's say you throw $80 in there, that will re-up automatically. You could just throw it in there and not worry about it. So that's a nice thing I found out. I didn't actually know it was an automatic to the wallet. So whatever you throw in your wallet, it'll just automatically take out of the wallet.
Subtract it. Yep.
It's very nice. Very nice system.
Yes, ma'am. But overall, you guys, if you do choose, we hope you do, of coming on here and using this platform, again, you will be 100% safe on here. Your information will be safe of whatever you choose to put out there. And your card information is safe because there is no card information.
And
if
because of the payment system, we're not currently an adult site, but we are potentially working on to an adult category for this site. We are in the works for it, so that is in the making. But there's a lot to that. Like that's a threshold we don't know if we want to cross, you know what I mean? And we hope that our message gets out to the communities and to people, and that you guys can come on here, see what it is, get the promotion now. It's free right now. So with the promotion, it's free to 4 to 5 months free right now. You can enjoy this promotion, and then make your decisions for yourself. Would you rather free and sell my information, or would you rather secure in an amazing high definition platform? Lose your mind and find your soul. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in. This has been a very interesting, all over the place episode, but we had so much fun in making it. Wee! I hope you all have a wonderful day. Keep peace within your souls. Bye.